John's just retired from astronautics. He was one of the last men to make a moonwalk. John, are you all right, son? You're white as a sheet and you're trembling.
Nothing I can do. It's happening again. I'm changing. And in several seconds, we see before us a man-wolf. It runs through the darkness as it hunts its quarry. And that quarry is man. The mark of the man-wolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This season, we're talking about Marvel's number 2 lycanthrope, John Jameson, a.k.a. the Moonrot Manwolf, a.k.a. Old Lobo, a.k.a. the Furry Freak, a.k.a. Night Brute. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
And I'm Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week, listeners. Just a quick note before we jump in with our special guest. We want to share with you the immediate future of the show. We've kind of been ambiguous about what we're going to do, and we have been talking in the background and made some decisions. So after the Man-Wolf story, this season will be about 25 episodes, I believe, maybe 22. We're going to probably take a brief break and then come back and resume Werewolf by Night. We're going to pick up his solo adventures after his title was canceled and read through his appearances until around 1990. And that's when Jacob and I tap out and need to go hit the showers. Yeah. 1990s Marvel. However, we have a plan for after that is a little more amorphous, but we want to stick around the Bronze Age, as you probably guessed. So we're going to rebrand the show, probably change our name to reflect the fact that we're not a Werewolf by Night podcast anymore. And we'll be asking on our Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/Werewolf by Night podcast, and be asking people, what would you like us to read next? And we'll have a poll so you can vote. I want you guys to do Son of Satan. I want you to do Tales of the Zombie. I want you to do Man-Thing. I want you to do whatever. And we'll figure that out. But that is the immediate future of the show. That's the business out of the way. Now let's get to the specialness. We have a special guest. Welcome back to the show, Tim Tucker.
Oh, so great to be here. Always an honor. Really looking forward to chatting through this with you guys. Been listening avidly to all your shows. So yeah, so pleased to be here.
I'm curious, you were one of our very first guests on the first season, and you've been on multiple times. Yeah. I think you and Brad are almost tied for appearances. And so I'm curious, what do you think so far about Man-Wolf as compared to Jack Russell?
Yeah, lots of different feelings, but my headline is that I think I think John Jameson is less cool than Jack Russell, but I think his werewolf is better. I think he's a more powerful, fierce, kick-ass werewolf, and from that point, from a werewolf fan's point of view, I think he's delivering more than Jack Russell's werewolf did. But as a sort of arc and story, I think Jack Russell was probably stronger.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would. I'm not going to do it, but someone out there listening who has OCD, do you want to go back and compare every issue of Werewolf by Night with every issue of Man-Wolf's appearances and compare how much time we see in human form versus their beast form? I feel like we've had a lot more time with Jack Russell, even at this point in his story. Whereas Ralph Macchio's letter said, don't let him just be a vehicle for the beast. Let's develop him a little bit. So I agree with you, Tim. I think that's what's going on so far. However, I feel like that's turning as we speak in the issues.
Yeah.
So I think they're making an effort.
Yeah. He's a great werewolf, though.
It's just great to see you, by the way, Tim.
Yes.
And you.
Your kind face.
Makes me happy to see you guys.
I thought for a while I was shadow banned from your feeds, but your shows are on hiatus. So
yeah, afraid so. Yeah.
My paranoia is unfounded.
You were just too offensive, and he had to shadow ban you, Matt.
I don't do that. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I do want to mention, in case somebody hopped on and said, I don't know who this Werewolf by Night guy is, but I love Man-Wolf. Can you talk a little bit about your series of books and where you are in the writing of the?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm writing a series of books about a werewolf set in the 18th century. So it starts off in Jamaica with a book called Above the Circle of the Moon. My pen name is T.M. Tucker, if you want to look me up. 2 books out now, with the third very near completion. I've just had it back from my editor, and I'm working my way through some changes, which will be out hopefully March, April this year. So I'll be doing a big promotion on the. I'll be putting the first book for free and the second book for free when I launch the third book in the next month or so. So yeah, that's where I'm at. You can find more at tmtucker.com. That's my website. Find out more about my werewolf literature.
Awesome. And nice. I encourage everyone to do that. I was, as I mentioned before, I was a little leery of reading your stuff because I was scared I wouldn't like it, but I was super impressed by how good it is and I love it. So I've just always want to share it whenever I can. It's really good stuff.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Anything else going on besides World War III or...
Yeah,
that's depressing, isn't it? Yeah.
I was worried you would have a blackout or something. I didn't know if Churchill
it's getting here, isn't it? Yeah, it's sort of going across Europe. It'll reach us very soon. Yeah.
My daughter asked me last night if she could potentially be drafted if this became a world war and she turned 18. I was just like, wow. Oh my God, why am I having this conversation?
That was the first thought I had about my son who's 15. I thought, oh no, yeah, it's a horrible. I have had a few nights of anxiety about it actually. But yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I told her, well, this is what the term conscientious objector means. And this is a map to Canada. And I encourage
a place called Canada.
Either one. Yep.
Yeah. This is why hippies won, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. This is probably what David Kraft would encourage her to do as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
A great seg into the issue.
Perfect.
So this issue, we're talking about Creatures on the Loose, number 35, which has a cover date of May 1975. And this cover was done by Gil Kane with gorgeous inks by Tom Palmer, and we get a rare coloring credit, George Rousseau. I wasn't familiar with this one that much. Again, a lot of these are surprises to me, so I don't know if I'd ever seen this one before, but we have a strange, it kind of looks like the Fantastic Four flying car thing, but it looks like it has solar panels as wings. It looks very cool. It looks like a kiddie pool / fantastic car.
Fantastic car, that's right.
With solar panels.
Yeah.
So, and on it, there's the werewolf down on his knees being throttled and punched by a man in, it looks kind of like the Crimson Dynamo or some kind of strange Iron Man alternate universe version who's beating the piss out of our werewolf as this fantastic car kind of is angling downwards and flying across a desert scape towards the ground. So there's kind of a threat of crashing here going on while the werewolf is facing immediate physical danger as well. And there's an explosion, and it says, Mile High Mayhem, as a maddened moonbeast and the most unexpected supervillain of all battle to the death on a runaway rocket sled. And the bottom just says, Wolfquest.
It's exciting, that's for sure.
I love Palmer's inks on this. Like the way that he inked the armor on the villain, like that just as I'm a sucker for super thick, bold inks like that. And he mixes it up with the fur on the man-wolf is very sketchy. So lots of different textures on here that I found really pleasing. And all the mechanical stuff is inked very precisely.
Yeah, I agree. I've got to ask though, why is he red on the cover and yellow armor in the issue? Is that because he's reflecting the sky, do you think?
Ooh, that's because cool. I don't think so.
No, that's a no prize level of explanation because I just think there was probably a disconnect and they didn't. But maybe also to color him gold would have been too much because the sky sled, as I think it's called, is also kind of a yellowish gold. So that may have been an editorial thing.
I think it was an artistic choice. Because also the man-wolf's tunic is yellow, so I think there'd be just too much yellow muddling the center of the composition.
No, that's a good call. Yeah, I it's funny. I didn't like this cover when I first saw it, but then when I actually started doing some notes on it, I was like, oh, I do actually like it. I like kind of the Zipatone clouds. Mm-hmm. I love the colors on it. And now, according to GCD, we get the George Rousseau coloring credit because of something in the letters page.
Really?
Which I guess we'll tackle that when we get to the letters page later on.
Oh, cool.
But I really dig this. And, the cover is correct. It is probably the most unexpected supervillain that I could have thought of. So
yeah, we've got some things to say about that, haven't we? Surely.
Yeah.
Because, that'll come. Yeah.
I have a lot to say about that.
My last thing is the Wolfquest title. I mean, I think it's confusing because it's got Mile High Mayhem in what I would consider a better placing for the heading. So that feels like the heading of the issue, where actually the heading of the issue is Wolfquest down in the bottom left. I don't understand why it's called Wolfquest. I don't know what that's referring to at all.
I honestly think that the titles of these stories really haven't had much to do with the issue. Like I know in the titles in Werewolf by Night were a little more literal about the story, and these seem much more kind of obtuse and arty, just about cool titles with the word wolf in them.
Yeah. Almost like when Ween said, I need to have these scripts, or at least these story, beats up, for the next several issues. And you said, 35 is Wolfquest, 36 is Moons over Miami, 37 is Space
I think that's
Bomb.
what happened.
It does sound like that.
Another thing I like to note that the Moon Beast Man-Wolf has been very lupine so far, but on this Kane cover, he's very universally kind of Werewolf by Night-ish.
Yeah, he's definitely, this is the most Werewolf by Night we've seen him look. And he almost has that suckerfish mouth. Almost. It's a little bit, but it's not enough that I think it's egregious.
Yeah, it's not quite like a seahorse, but
yeah, it's like a scary seahorse.
Are we ready to dig in? Can I ask a question real quick before we do?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Around the rim of the sled, that gradient from gold to yellow, does anyone know? I know how they did it for this. This is a digital thing, but has anyone seen the original cover? Like, how did they do stuff like that back then? You couldn't, right? Or was there gradients like that?
I would think that there is a little more in the tools in the arsenal by 1975.
Okay.
But I also could be wrong. Yeah, it's a bummer. We don't have every issue of this run in physical like we did in the Werewolf by Night run, because we had Matt Spine, so we could do that nice comparison, which we can't as much this time. So sorry.
So I'm looking at an illegal scan site, and it's definitely more banded. So there's a yellow band, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 clear bands and gradient.
Okay, so not a gradient. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's jump in. So our creators for this issue. This is how the credits reads. David Kraft wrote it. George Perez drew it. Frank McLaughlin inked it. Dave Hunt lettered it. Petra Goldberg colored it. Len Wein edited it. You get to read it. And so excited we get Petra back, our second favorite colorist on the Werewolf books, right after the great Linda Lessman. And okay, Matt, in our correspondence during the week when we just kind of text and stuff about this, you said it perfectly. How you looked at the image on this opening page, and you're like, "How is this not the cover? How is this not a T-shirt?"
Yeah,
because it is. It's
awesome, isn't it?
It's so awesome. So, like we said, the title is Wolfquest. On the left, we have 3 small panels that show us kind of where we left off last issue, with the old hillbilly peg leg guy aiming a shotgun at John as he's riding his motorcycle while transforming into the man-wolf. And then on the left side of the page, we have pretty much the coolest thing I've ever seen in comics, which is a werewolf jumping a gorge on a motorcycle while howling at the top of his lungs. It doesn't get any cooler than this.
That's the best.
Yeah. I mean,
I love the way the lettering's coming out of the, that perspective on the Wolfquest title is great, isn't it? Coming behind him, and
it's so cool. So I mean, I think 75, we're damn near the height of Evel Knievel craze at this point. So and I had to look at that second panel on the right, and we see that there's a bit of a gorge there that he's actually going to be jumping with his motorcycle. Just it's so fucking cool. Yeah, I loved this opening page.
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard wasn't out yet, so I don't know if he was legally required to in the state of Georgia while jumping over a chasm to mouth trumpet Dixie.
Yeah. Yep. Not yet.
Nope. Thank God.
Why do you think they didn't just use that right hand part to just make the whole page that? Do you think they needed the left panels there to build up to that? Because it would have had more impact.
I was on the fence about that, Tim. I thought the same thing, and I didn't know if we needed at least a little bit of context.
I guess, yeah. If you got a werewolf on a motorcycle, I suppose you do need some context.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. If you're a 12-year-old kid in 1975, I mean, I guess
take my money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's but yeah, so cool. But I really like the illustration of the werewolf in that third panel on the right-hand side where it just says the man wolf, and he looks perfect. Great. But in each photo where there's a either the peg leg hillbilly or the werewolf, they're all looking straight at us. So it's just even more the tension's great. It's just a really well done page.
Yeah. And copy-wise, David A. Kraft is still kind of illustrating the fact that this is the diametric opposite of Jack Russell's werewolf. Mm-hmm. It says, fact, lead is as lethal as silver when its quasi-human target is the lupine moonbeast called the man wolf. So he's saying there's no magic here. There's no silver. This isn't about purity. This is a science werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I thought he exercised great restraint in the narration on this page.
On this page.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been thinking of Tim this issue and the last issue when his Minchian kind of verbosity and purple prose was coming out. I was like, I can't wait to talk to Tim about some of these words.
No, exactly. I'm on the right issue because there's a lot of that in here. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
So I also agree that I think as a splash page, if this had been a bigger werewolf shooting out over this giant 3D font, that would be cool. But I do like the division here, and I think it does work because again, this is Creatures on the Loose. Maybe people are just jumping on. They don't know. Maybe they need a little bit of context, but also, I mean, the last issue did end with like an Easy Rider like climax, like a hillbilly putting a shotgun on a biker, and as he turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
So one of the best endings ever, and we've got to have a little bit of a lead in, or we're just gonna fall and cut our chins.
True.
So I have zero complaints about this. It looks like a 3D movie poster from the early 80s.
It looks like a video game to me as well. There's something about it that looks a bit like a video game, like one of those old cartridge covers.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. The next page is 4 horizontal panels. It's just showing an action, and it's kind of leading us back in through narrative about what's going on. And I love that Kraft uses this time thing to kind of just catch everybody up. So he says, 40 minutes ago, he was hanging out at a gorge looking at the sunset. And then 9 minutes ago, he hopped onto a motorcycle and ran for his life. And then 2 minutes ago, he was chased by a shotgun or whatever. And as this is happening, we see him landing his jump over the chasm. He's a werewolf now. He's not John Jameson. It's basically, he practically started the jump as a man and it landed as a werewolf.
Yep.
And I can't tell if he popped his tire or if a shotgun blast blew out his front tire, but he's gone end over end over the handlebars, and he's landing roughly into a dirt and rock field and just rolling. And the bike's already started exploding while he's showing us his perineum and rolling around. And yes, not going well, but cool action sequence there. It's almost like he was riding the motorcycle and landing it, and then he realized, I'm a werewolf. I don't know what I'm doing. Like the same way, like Wile E. Coyote's like, I'm running on the cliff, and he looks down and he's like, oh, there's no cliff.
Yeah, that's what I took it to mean, is that when he started the jump, he was still kind of in form, and even in the first page, he's still holding on to the handlebars. He's riding it, and then once he gets into the full Moonbeast form, then just like Jack Russell would, he's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what vehicles are. And so then he loses control. And the action on this page I thought was really cool. So as Perez is going on in these issues, I need to go back to qualify this, but a lot of his art and a lot of the action sequences remind me of his Teen Titans work from the 80s. Like, I think he's really coming into his style.
I need to read those issues again.
I like Matt. I got into Crisis on Infinite Earths, I think, when it came out. Would it have come out in the sort of early 80s, mid 80s, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 85.
I pretty much got into that. That was one of the few comic books that got me, in that time, that got me. And so I instantly recognized his style, even from the first issue he did that. He was hitting the ground running, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure.
On this run. But yeah, he has developed too, I think. I agree. I like the way the captions on this page are on the blue bits so that they really stand out. And I thought that's really nicely designed, beautifully designed for standout.
Yeah, and I would think that I would almost think that that's all Petra. I'm not sure there would even be guidelines there, really.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see any lines or outlines or anything to show where that is going to be. That just seems like that might be a cool Petra innovation. Not sure, of course, but let's say so.
Okay. Is she still alive?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. But yeah, really, really cool page. And so on the next page, it's a strange layout. It works for me, but it's unusual in just the fact that the top panel is this rectangle where we see John and the bike hurtling towards us, which I think is awesome. Like it's really cool. The narration reads, "The first rays of the crescent moon sought and found the blood red pendant grafted to his throat and lanced through it to his inner self." And it goes on, where a darksome metamorphosis of soul and body brought forth a malign, slavering night brute, the man wolf, whose cycling technique might be best be described as somewhat lacking. And then in that bottom panel, so it's just the 2-panel page, which is always kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if it's ever quite not clunky in a way. But the bottom panel is the motorcycle crashing into the rock wall and just exploding, and not it. And the sound effect is not fa woom, it's fa whom.
See, I like that sound effect because I heard that as fa woom. Like I heard a real kind of like the explosion of the gas coming out.
No, you're right. Yeah. I don't know. It's just the spelling, though it totally works in an onomatopoeia way. The spelling made me laugh a little bit. Like, it's so formal. Yeah.
We're really, really familiar with the business end of the Man-Wolf's tunic lately. I don't know if it's just me. I just feel like it's really his crotch is really in my face.
Huh.
Yeah.
But I do love that first panel on the top as like he's just eating shit. And like you said, there's like pebbles and stuff coming towards us and dust. And as the motorcycle is probably rolling end over end, bursting into flames towards us, the viewer. So like, this is like when you see the 70s like action movies and like there's a car wreck and like you can see the car's out of control and it's like, oh, it's gonna hit that fucking camera, and I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, and then they cut to the behind shot. Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's really awesome.
Very cool. And I'm with you, Jacob. I love that Kraft is hitting this body horror thing like. Grafting, he keeps talking about how just it's grafted to his flesh, lanced through to his inner self.
Because it's really horrifying.
He's really building that alien bond thing. Which is upsetting. So now we got to pay for all these relatively wordless pages here.
Oh boy!
Next page. So the peg leg guy pulls up in the stolen hippie van of the man he killed, and he pulls up to the edge of the cliff and. It's explained that there was a flash flood or something that carved out this section of the byway, and so that's why there's a cliff. And he hops out and he gets his shotgun and crouches down and shoots at the man-wolf. And the man-wolf is dazed, lacerated by the crash, confused by the moon-wrought rebirth that culminated in high-speed disaster, and violently lusted after by lead. The man-wolf retreats abruptly into the night.
Oh boy!
And that's one row, the top row.
That's just one row.
So that's the guy aiming towards him, and then we see the man-wolf crouching as some buckshot lands above him. And then there's a cool little panel at the end where he's darting off while some more shots are landing near him, and he's half in shadow. And we cut to New York City, which is also somehow 46 hours and 41 minutes ago. Kraft is playing fast and loose with his time.
He is a little bit, yeah.
Did that baffle you? Because we've talked about Marvel time before and comic book time, haven't we?
Yeah.
And and that's one of the things the medium can do that you can't really do in any other medium. But it did baffle me why they threw us back there. I couldn't understand why it was 46 hours earlier and what was going on with that time jump.
It happened last issue too, and I'm still not sure why we're jumping back 2 whole days.
See, the only thing that I could think was that maybe there was a revival of Kubrick's The Killing, and Kraft had just seen it at like some art house in New York. He's just like, oh man, I want to do that.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Maybe it's a narrative conceit.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is that because these guys are Air Force or NASA or what feds, they, flew to New York and they could fly to wherever he is, whereas John had to jump in the back of a truck and ride down south. So it's just giving us realistic time. I'm not sure.
I guess, yeah. But Kraft seems to fill in details that we keep being like, did all those guys need to be named?
Mm-hmm.
Did all this time stuff have to happen? But maybe it's part of the whole plan. Maybe it's part of that patchwork that makes his stories interesting. I don't know. I'm not ready to write it off yet.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you. I tend to be with you. I think that even if it's just arbitrary, I'm liking it. So it's kind of a fun change.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So we're at the offices of the Bugle, and the two guys we met before, Katz and Den, are grilling Jonah about. He said, you mentioned a moonstone. Tell us about that. And he's saying, I've told you all I'm going to tell you now. Get out of here. And then the guy's like, come on, tell us about the moonstone, please.
That's exactly how I heard it.
That's not his tone, but that's how I read that.
It is. It's a weird interrogation style.
Yeah, very Simpsons-y kind of like.
It is.
Thing.
It's like a kid.
Yeah. I'll be your friend.
Yeah. And JJJ's having none of it. He says, maybe you didn't understand me, mister. I said, get lost. And they're like leaving, like, you're hiding something, fella. And maybe it's you who doesn't understand. Your son's AWOL. And then the guy says, yeah, that's serious. It's not something you can buy him out of or pretend doesn't exist. And they slam his office door while they say, think about it, because we'll be back. And Jonah's pissed. He's like, don't threaten me, Buster. Don't you dare threaten J. Jonah Jameson. So it's just him and Stroud now in his office. And Stroud says, they're right, You're weird, some weird dude. Well, he's not actually yelling this time.
Strange.
Yeah, and he says, can it, Stroud? I'm through taking grief from you. You're the one who arrested John. And I just have to say, this whole exchange was nice and all, but I was really tickled by remembering those old water coolers with the cone-shaped cups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, took me back to my childhood. I miss those.
Yeah, this issue is funny. It's just packed with exposition and packed with dialogue. And I don't know if this is, sometimes I almost think that Kraft gets away from himself sometimes when he's telling the story. He's like, oh, and this page is going to be awesome and this. And then he's like, oh, fuck, I have to actually describe what's going on. I have to move the story forward. And so it's these kind of jumps and stops a little bit in his writing process. And I don't know if that's a stylistic choice or just that he's still a pretty green writer. Like he's still figuring shit out.
Okay. Yeah, because I got the feeling halfway through this that somebody had written to him and said, can you use words with more syllables in, please? Because I prefer it. When he could say something like he fell off the bike, it becomes something like, the gravitational, and he just goes into... But yeah, maybe it is because he's green. I mean, something you said in the last episode, Jacob, was that he's not very consistent with it either. So the guy with a peg leg speaks really formally in one frame, and then in another, he's like a New York kind of hamburger store
weird. Guy. Yeah, it's really strange, but I don't know. And I also think it's safe to say that at this point in the bullpen and the Marvel offices, pretty sure David Kraft is doing the most drugs out of anybody. I think that's safe to assume.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are both on here. I think that he's pretty young. I think he's a talented writer. He's been a rock journalist. Comic plotting is a very different beast altogether. And I feel like he's got a lot of set pieces. He just works with set pieces. Like I got this piece and now I got to somehow catch everything up to get here. So he just kind of crams some stuff in. I think it's just green.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I think I'm sure he'll get more balanced as he gets more experience in the medium. But yeah, so the next page, I love the first panel. I loved it. It opens with just a classic Simon Stroud panel of him with a clenched fist, like screaming, like, "Yeah, and he cut out on me. He's running scared for a reason, and you know it, because he's the man wolf." So finally, someone has put it together, which we kind of knew Stroud had put it together a little bit, but yeah. So and I go
Can I
on.
just say something real
Yeah.
quick? That first panel, you can take that. I'm going to take that and I'm going to erase the contents of the word balloon and just put any rock and roll lyrics you want in there. The final countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Back in
looks like
Black.
any 80s
Yeah.
video from a hair band.
Yeah. Yeah. Throw something from Blue Oyster Cult in there. That's much more craft.
Yes.
You know, we know he loves his BOC.
Yep.
But I love Jonah's reaction to this is so cool. And I love that second panel. He's just playing it fucking cool, like lighting his cigar, just not saying a word. And Stroud is not having it. He's like, that's the big secret, ain't it? Come on, say so. Your son needs help, not protection. And then we get a really cool, that fourth panel on the second row. It's such a cool angle. It's like we're an ant on the floor looking up at Simon Stroud.
Perspective.
It's such a weird perspective. And he's going out the door saying, okay, don't answer, but remember what the man said. Think about it. So long, Jameson. Yeah, such a strange panel. And then we get 3 kind of cool panels as well. Like the perspectives in these 6 panels are so strange. Like
so good.
They're so cool though. And they're so all over the place in such a cool way. And so we get like the shot from like the top of a building at Jonah with his cigar. And it says he has thought about it often, but even so, he's still found no answer. And then we get a nice romance panel of just a close up of his eye and eyebrow and a little bit of his stash, and he's crying. And it's really, really cool.
And
Brilliant.
This top half of this page to me is like Perez just exploding.
Yeah.
Like mutating. He's growing so fast as an artist. Like that second panel should be in Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics, because that's showing there's time passing here.
Yep.
Through just art, showing that he's not only lighting his cigar, he's drawing in and exhaling, all while not breaking eye contact with him and thinking. So you know time has passed. That's brilliant.
So cool. Yeah.
And
Perez is.
Yeah, and that solo shot of Jonah looking down on him from way up above, where it's almost like a spotlight on him. It's almost like the moon is behind him. It's almost like a rifle sight. Like it's the art in these first 7 panels is amazing.
Totally.
Yeah, you get the feeling like he didn't have to do that. Like he could have done
Not
this
at all.
quite pedestrian narrative, but it's so cool visually.
It could have been a waist up shot of him just looking out the window smoking his cigar.
Yeah.
It would have been completely serviceable, but Perez took it somewhere else.
And not sure exactly how detailed Kraft's scripts are, but I don't think they're probably as visually detailed as some of the other writers. Kraft seems much more interested in writing, dialogue and narration. So I'm just assuming this is done basically in the Marvel method, in which there's some rough outlines of what the page should look like, but a lot of the art pacing and layout is much more in the hands of the artist.
Yeah, I doubt this looks like an Alan Moore script.
No, definitely not. And then the second half of the page, it just takes a turn. So we find ourselves in Christine's apartment. It says, for in the familiar quietude of a one-room studio apartment, Christine Saunders is also beset with anxiety. So she's reclining on her bed or her couch, thinking, oh, it's too much to accept the fact that John's a man-wolf and that he's AWOL, has been under arrest and now is gone. And we hear the doorbell and she's like, oh, the doorbell. I hope those NASA guys aren't back with more questions. Or maybe it's John. So she opens the door and thank God she still has the chain on. And she's like, who's there? And it's just, we get the slightest, silhouette of a guy who just says, Harrison Turk. And then she just lets him in. I'm just like, don't fucking let this guy in. He comes in and he says, I came in place of your regular art tutor, Mr. Nat, who is ill. And so, yeah, the super creepy guy, like he's super sketch. He has a weird goat beard and multiple gold chains, just looks creepy as fuck. Like, I don't want him anywhere near Christine.
Got the weirdest name, Harrison Turk.
Yeah, Harrison spelled
Y.
Yeah, RRISYN. So strange. And then she's like, oh, I forgot, it's Thursday night again. I guess she has a regular standing date with our art teacher. And then the final panel is just him looking so creepy, saying, "Yes, time for your lesson."
Now this is reason enough to get the next issue, isn't it? Because we never find out what's going on here.
No, and I was just
In
like,
this
"What the
issue,
fuck? I don't like this at all."
I know. I had to fight myself from Googling Harrison Turk and like, does this guy become something?
Can I know you guys like to sometimes cast actors.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who Andreas Vucinas is? Does that name mean anything to you? He played. You ever seen the Mel Brooks film The Producers?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
He was Carmen. What was the name of the character? Carmen Gia, who was you might recognize him if I hold up. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, okay, totally.
He was the boyfriend of the director in of Springtime for Hitler.
Oh,
don't you think that's him, isn't it?
Yeah, it really looks like him.
My note was just he looks like an evil Bob Denver, so he looks like Maynard G. Krebs,
Yeah,
but from Earth 2.
Right.
Maynard G. Krebs if he was a sex pest.
Yeah. And it can't go unnoted that Harrison Turk is wearing a green jacket with a yellow shirt underneath it and a red carnation. So he is the Man-Wolf palette.
Oh,
which I don't
that's
think is an
true.
accident.
No, and maybe that's why Christine is instantly trusting, way too trusting, as a single lady living in New York in 1975 in a studio apartment. Yeah,
Well, I don't want to be an eyebrowist, but just based on this guy's eyebrows, I would not let him in my place, regardless of who he said he was or what note he had from my mom.
That's fair.
So I was over the moon with this. As I've talked about before, I love subplots. I love expanding the cast. I love Christine being a person and having her own life. So I was thrilled and really bummed that this is probably not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
Yeah.
And I also just had a note that just said JJJ's ears were probably ringing after Stroud left. And I imagine that everyone around him has, tinnitus.
Yes.
Tinnitus. I don't know how you say it, but
yeah.
Just constant Stroudism.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, Simon was just here.
I can't hear you.
So on the next page, we cut back and we're told that that's the last time we're going to New York City for this issue. And we see the Man-Wolf stalking off, running away from this attack from the hillbilly overalls guy. And it says, goaded by an admixture of pain, anger, and awesome sanguinary hatred, the savage Man-Wolf pads warily through silence, stalking the nighted mountainside with a remorseless intent to seek bestial vengeance, though with only murky, elusive memories to guide his way. And we get an overhead shot of him as he's stalking through the woods, and then we see the shadow of that craft from the cover, kind of overhead, tracking him. And it says, technology, however, has provided an equally stealthy but more advanced method for locating a foe. Sky sled. And we get a shot down from below the front of the Man-Wolf as he's raging on. His gem is glowing in his neck. And there's the sky sled coming in with a silhouetted character swooping down above him. And a great last panel as he whips his head around, growling as he becomes aware that he's being stalked. And it says, enraged awareness comes belatedly. So it's too late, but his beast senses did pick up on the imminent attack.
Yeah.
What do you think of this page? I like it's nothing special going on narrative wise, but I think it's some pretty cool imagery.
Well, that third,
with the perspectives, isn't it? The Perez perspectives from the sky, from down below. That's what I find really is where the visual energy of this page and all the issue actually.
Yeah.
Agreed. That middle row of those three panels, the perspective is really cool. The two are above the Man-Wolf from the sky sled's perspective. That middle one, we see that the shadow of the sky sled, which is very ominous and cool. Mm-hmm. And then that third, we get the foot pedals going down to speed it up. No, it's really, really cool.
I have decided between the penultimate panel and the last panel on this page that my issue with the Man-Wolf's hair, I don't mind if he has a mane or a crew cut if it's not colored differently. But when they color a different color, that's when it looks silly to me.
So on the penultimate panel, it's colored the same color as the rest of his fur, and in that final panel, it's purple. It's not just a flat top; it's a purple flat top.
Flat Top Tony and the Purple Canoes.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yep. So, but the real action happens on the next page, because we get this big panel that takes up more than half of the page. It's like suddenly this golden hued, like it is. He's like a masked gladiator,
Like Centurion,
guy.
yeah.
He is like a centurion. Jumps off of the sky sled and just clocks John, saying, "My men did not lie. The animal is indeed a peculiar hybrid, quite possibly a spy. I will execute it quickly and get back to the project." And the project is all in bold. And the bottom narration of that panel says, "Consciousness screams into oblivion, then echoes back in tones of livid agony."
I mean, you know, that's like Jim Morrison poetry, isn't it?
It totally is. And it continues the next panel, tinged with ebon fury that revives sinewy control and stirs like lycanthropic blood, imbuing the now murderous man-wolf with a rabid battle lust that is met decisively by cruel weaponry. Yeah, it's the narration on this page is over the top, but
What
kind of
happened
cool.
on this page? Did you think he just, like, the acid kicked in on this page or something?
That's what I feel like. The rest of the issue just feels like he's like, oh shit, like looking at his hand, like, okay.
Yeah. No, I think he also.
Clackety, clack, clack.
I think as he's imagining like on really action-packed pages, I think he's like a 12-year-old, like imagining it and getting really excited and writing a bunch of cool stuff. Like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he just jumped off the sky sled, and clocked the werewolf." And so he has to fit in a lot of words, get real poetic. Yeah, it's awesome.
I get excited, like jumping off of a sky sled in an Iron Man suit, punching a werewolf as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking cool.
It is.
I was worried that Eben came up because, I have some Wolfman PTSD from Tomb of Dracula. So Eben winged, Eben this, Eben that.
Yeah.
A little too soon for me, but
it's only
really
once in this issue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was concerned though in this first panel when he is attacking and he's narrating what he does to himself, that his men did not lie, and he's come out to check it out. And I just kept thinking, in order to be a truly effective manager, you have to be able to delegate and trust your staff.
Yeah.
You're never going to rise to the upper echelon of your corporation or your, whatever ladder you have if you're going to have to micromanage and handle everything yourself. So we'll see limitations in whoever this might be under this armor.
Yes. We'll see.
It's almost like
I feel like
doesn't.
He should have had a better name than The Project as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Project.
The Project. Remember the lair? Remember all that crazy shit? The Project.
I did also like in this bottom row here, as he's facing off against the man-wolf who's recovering from that initial attack. And the man-wolf gives it, his all. And I like that middle panel where there's the gloved hand in the foreground and the beast is just raising his fists up to do one of those like double-fisted slams down, but he doesn't get it in time. He's bested.
Yeah. No, and I was slightly confused on that last panel. Is he basically backhanding the werewolf, or shooting a weird laser from his?
It's like this, I think. Yeah. It's kind
okay.
of
he backhanded him.
Yeah, he did backhand. Okay. Yeah, I was slightly confused because he's talking about cruel weaponry, but I think he's probably just talking about his gauntlets.
Yeah, and. We drink when the beast backhands someone, but I'm going to open this up and just call it a beastie backhand, even when the beast gets backhanded.
A beastie backhand.
I have some of my Cornish spiced rum for this evening.
Very nice. I'm drinking coffee out of a Beatles mug with a shot of rye whiskey in it because it's noon here in America. So
and I'm having an elaborate Bloody Mary built by my wife with lemon, homemade pickles, olives, and celery.
Renee is the unsung hero of this podcast, always fueling you with good drinks.
She is. On the next page, some great action here. I feel like I need to read this because this is where Kraft, again, the acid has kicked in and he's really feeling it. So he's recovering from that last blow. It says, "Pain fire born of a searing gash spreads to inflame a darkling mind, a cunning, duskily reasoning mind." And he picks up a rock and punches this villain with it, scrang. It says, "That retaliates with sheer malefic vehemence." And then the villain reacts to that by choking the man-wolf. And it says, "Alas, to no avail, for quite plainly. And as he's being choked by this villain, his tongue lolls out like a dog. It's so weird. He's just like, his eyes are closed. He's like, and his giant 9-inch tongue is hanging out of his head. The man monster's arcane prowess, I have an issue with the word arcane here, is rivaled or possibly even exceeded by that of his armored adversary. And so the villain has picked him up by the neck and throws him into the floating sky sled, clung. Of course, this is the third night since the full moon. And while the man-wolf has correspondingly more human intelligence, and we see him climbing into the sky sled, so he actually managed to hold on once he hit it, he also has less raw animal ferocity. So who can say whether this action, and we see his claw, he just kind of swipes at the control board and hits a button, swack, is pure accident. So it's suggesting that we're three days away from the full moon. There's more John in here than there was before. And so we don't know, is this the beast just slashing at the control panel wildly, or is there John in there just saying, I'm a pilot, and I think this is the go button?
Yeah,
Do you think these, because his pupil looks human there, doesn't it?
I know. I like that.
You're right.
His eyes have been red when it's a full moon, and now his eyes are human.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
really close up.
The more I think about this new kind of wrinkle to his character, it's really cool. Not only does it take advantage of the fact that he's going to turn into the man-wolf every single night, and that his kind of waning or waxing in intelligence, like it's a cool thing to have. I think it could go a lot of different places in the narrative. So I like it.
Yeah,
but John's never going to get any sleep, is he?
No, he's never.
No,
that's true. You're right.
It'd be like Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine like at the most ebb, of the moon, that's just his least bestial,
Wolfie,
right?
yeah.
So he's just humping like a pillow on the couch or something like that, and that's the extent of that night. Like, just kind of got in the garbage and he humped a pillow.
Yes.
I think they did set this up a few issues back, because there was a caption earlier a few issues back where they said, "This is it. John's not sleeping now. It's day by day he's John, by night he's the man wolf." And I mean, that's going to drive you insane, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was his last.
Is.
His last day in New York was when he realized that he was going to have no peace.
Yeah, and the last time he slept was on the train.
Right.
As man wolf, so he got a little bit of shut eye in his werewolf form, which is good.
Yeah, but I do enjoy in general just him building on this power set and explaining how the Moonstone works with its host.
Yeah,
totally. So the next page, the sky sled just takes off like a shot. With the narration kind of continues with that thought that from the previous page. It's or the work of astronaut John Jameson. So yet occasionally functional identity. But then it doesn't really matter. It says no matter really, for the sky sled can also be controlled from the ground. And our villain, picks up a giant remote and is in control of the sky sled, and he makes it just go everywhere, trying to get the man wolf off. It says rather than providing escape for the silvery night beast, it can be used instead to execute erratic and tortuously abrupt maneuvers that tear excruciatingly at his taloned grip, snarling in guttural defiance. Yeah, he is finally dislodged. And such a goofy way of saying that, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. He just says he shook him loose.
Yeah, that was all he could say, but no, he decided to use 30 words instead, and more power to him. It shows that the man wolf falls from the sky sled through some trees and down onto the ground. The villain goes up to him, says, "The brute still lives. Such ineffable strength and longevity are almost beyond my experience and bear further study at the project."
That's a weird sentence, because strength, yes, but why longevity? What's he talking about there? How does he know how long he lives? I mean, maybe he's trying to say just his endurance of being able to. But you're right. I think endurance would have been a little more of an appropriate word. I think words are just springing into Kraft's head at the moment.
They are,
and they're just going out there on the page
like mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to indicate that there was a 4-word way to sum up the action on this page because I love the English language.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
that's why we use words like penultimate. You know, we're not anti-intellectuals here.
Not at
You know,
all.
someone could say penultimate. What's that? Oh, can't you just say next to the last? I could,
No.
but there's a word that means that.
Yeah.
And I love my native language.
Yes.
I agree. Although I couldn't help, like you, Matt, I couldn't help in translating bits of it in my head into, oh, so he punched him, you know, or something like that.
It's hard not to do that as well. You can appreciate the florid prose, but yeah, at the same time, you're just going to be like, oh, he just punched him, or he just fell off the sled.
Okay, are you guys ready for this?
Here we go. This is the big reveal we've been waiting for many issues now.
So I mentioned last episode that I accidentally spoiled this when I was looking for a letters page for last issue. So I knew who this was, but I was not prepared. We opened to a double page spread, and it just says up at the upper left corner, The Project. So we finally get to see what's going on, and we're back inside the crazy Dr. No, whatever, Blofeld supervillain mountain lair, where they apparently do all kinds of crimey things. So there's an inset panel that shows like the beast's eyes kind of heavily lidded, slowly opening as he's returning to consciousness. And it says, much more than the profitable but illegal business endeavor described to the late Walter before his ensuing death, asterisk, though it is certainly all of that to the sneering man with the wooden leg. So, wow, that's a lot. And calling back to Walter?
Yeah.
Because you were saying, why does Kraft name everybody? And hopefully you're a Kinks fan, Tim. I've had Do You Remember Walter by the Kinks in my head all morning since rereading this and making notes.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
So the main illustration here is a 2-page spread of a bank of computers, some vats, some tubing, all this crazy stuff, some hooded henchmen, some yokels, and the peg-legged, coveralled, shirtless redneck, and the hate monger.
Yeah.
The villain, the hate monger, is here. And that is who has been the guy behind all these machinations. So it says to him, it means money, while to the hooded man beside him, it means power. The him is the hillbilly, bald, weird guy. And to the reawakened man-wolf, it means captivity. So the man-wolf is chained and bound to some piping, kind of hogtied essentially, and roaring with rage as he sees these freaks standing before him. And the hillbilly guy says, the boys and I tried to eliminate him surreptitiously, but I had to shoot one of the locals. And then this blasted werewolf still got away. Fortunately for our secrecy, you caught up with him. And Hate Monger holds out his hand. Fortunately for you, I was not amused at being disturbed in my work, especially to track down an elusive beast. Yet perhaps its mysterious and unnatural physiology will yield up valuable secrets to the Hate Monger. And there's a smaller inset panel in the lower right as he looks at the equipment we saw the villain wearing, the armor, and he says, secrets that will make this cumbersome cybernetic armor obsolete and give me an entire army of invincible followers. So we just slid back into Bela Lugosi army of the
it's army of Superman.
Yes,
atomic powered Superman. Pull the string.
So what was your what were your reactions as you turned to this page?
Tim?
Just so many. I mean, first of all, my first thought was, is he making this up as he goes along? Was my first thought. Almost like, okay, so because I remember I was listening to the previous episode and you guys assumed, as I did, that the guy with the peg leg was the kind of leader of the project. So it feels like he's just gone, no, we need somebody else. We need another leader. And then we've got the armored guy, and now the armored guy is the. So I was just like, is he just like whatever comes into his head is just going out to the page? It feels like that, doesn't it? Don't you think? Rather than an arc that has been pre-written and pre-planned.
I do. And Jacob, can you speak to how did this work with editorial? Like when you wanted to use somebody that was an established villain, did you have to get permission?
Absolutely. For someone like the Hate Monger, who originally appeared in FF21 and is an established character, this was the first instance where I was just like, oh, this is becoming way different than Werewolf by Night, which never incorporated these legacy characters in. But
he's
there's
screaming to
there's
avoid the rest of
multiple
the MU.
legacy characters in this. Like I never
Yeah.
felt like I was more in a mainstream Marvel comic than in this.
From this
we'll see
moment,
on we'll see on the next page. It kind of goes through Hate Monger's appearances, but spoiler, he's a clone of Hitler. He is Hitler.
Is he? I didn't know that. So I didn't know. So I'm a bit greener than you guys. I'm much greener than you guys on this. So I didn't know the hate monger. So a few thoughts went through my mind in rapid succession. One was why did he wear the armor when, what was that about? So I almost got a feeling that he had the armor. He'd written the character with the armor without knowing who that was. and then he retrofitted that into the hate monger. I don't know that.
I feel like the cover was done by Gil Kane and then Kraft wrote around the cover.
Yeah, but to answer your question, Matt, he absolutely would have had to have gotten permission to use the hate monger and the characters that we're going to meet on the next couple pages. Like this isn't Glitter Knight. This isn't some of the characters that were just created for Werewolf by Night to keep them separate from the normal 616 universe. So this is a big departure.
So you just mentioned that unlike Werewolf by Night, this series is throwing itself headlong into Marveldom, the Marvel world at large. What is the parallel Werewolf by Night issue coming out in March or May of 75? We're getting kind of early 30s. Is this like Moon Knight-ish?
Yeah, so the corresponding issue of Werewolf by Night for this month is issue 29, which is the final Glitter Knight, I think. So it's Lissa is the Moon Beast, and it's that cover. Tim, this is the issue that we covered with you.
Oh, the Weredemon.
Yeah, the Weredemon one with the great cover. Where
this is the month that I'm destined to be involved in.
Yeah,
in this
it just
podcast.
is. May of 75 is your month. So yeah, that was a Doug Mensch and Don Perlin classic issue of Werewolf by Night with nothing to do with the normal Marvel universe whatsoever.
Right. I guess the reason I asked was because is Kraft seeing waiting sales in Werewolf by Night and thinking, how do I these books are running parallel to everything else, Invaders, Avengers, X-Men, whatever at this point in time. And they seem to be dropping off as this craze wanes and sales are strong in the superhero books, so I need to start embracing the superhero Marvel world. Does that make any sense, or am I just rambling?
I think I can see that because, I think the Glitter Knight saga was the first downturn of sales for Werewolf by Night. I think is why they kept trying to punch it up by introducing Moon Knight, by introducing other stuff. So I think that's actually really insightful.
Okay. My last thought before we move on is I think you're right, Tim. I think there's a certain amount of, I think somewhere around writing the script, he pulled this out of his ass and asked Len Wein if he could do it or something, because I think that in his hippie rock and roll biker shit, he was lashing out against Southern racist. And I thought, what a cool reach. There's these hillbilly racists in Georgia. Who would be leading them? Oh, I like a Nazi, the literal hate monger like Hitler. Hitler's clone.
Yeah.
So I thought that was rad.
On the next page, we basically get a bit of a recap of his previous Marvel appearances. Like I said, his first appearance was in FF21. And so he's narrating this saying, "For I am weary of defeat thrice. The first time due to the Fantastic Four and Nick Fury. The second and third times due solely to the Verdammt Fury himself. I have known defeat." And so, we get a few panels of him, fighting the FF, fighting Fury. And I think at the end of the FF, we realize that the hate monger is Hitler. He's unmasked and he is
okay,
Hitler.
really?
Wow. And he's I think it goes further, maybe in the Fury appearances, that he's a clone. I think it may have mentioned it in FF21. It's been a little while since I read that. But the hate monger is a clone of Hitler. He likes to use his hate ray to spread his racism. And this is a classic Marvel character. And I think this would be something that David Kraft would have read as a kid. He would have read FF21. And so maybe he had a real I don't know if you'd say fondness for the character, but maybe he was excited to incorporate him into his first Marvel stories.
So when you say classic, I mean he's really cheesy, isn't he?
He's really cheesy. I think I mean classic in that the fact that he was around in the classic period
in
of
that
Marvel.
age, yeah.
Yes, not
because to have a hate ray that it's a bit like that episode of The Simpsons in the McBain movies where they say it's a human misery. No,
yeah,
it's that kind of like I've got a hate ray and I'm going to make everyone hate everything.
Yeah, and he's not a subtle character at all. He is literally Hitler.
He's not Harrison Turk.
No, he's not Harrison Turk. But
Right.
So on the bottom panels, the hate monger goes on to say, NASA now occupies my orbiting space station. So I'm like, oh, okay. I see where this is going.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
And he says, yet soon I and an elite squad of followers shall reclaim that vast scientific complex, and my universal hate ray will again beam earthward. So it's the same fucking plan as it was in every one of his appearances, is to bathe the earth in his hate ray and make all humans Nazis, basically.
Did you know that he started as a fishmonger?
Yeah.
But there was a couple bad seasons, and he just was like, well, what else sells?
Yeah. It's like, oh,
And
hate.
So this is actually Roger Ailes. And so he founded Fox News 10 years later.
There you go. The original hate ray. Yeah. So on the final panel, we get kind of a weird angle. I don't quite know if it works or not. We almost zoom in on old Pegleg's face, and he says, "Look above us." And on the next page, we get our big reveal for the other characters that are going to join us in this issue.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that next to the last panel. Sorry, I'm just being for the working man. When the redneck guy, does he have a name? Does the
No,
Sorry.
I keep calling him Pegleg, and he has a wooden leg like a pirate. So
I love his side eye as hate mongers, going on. Like he's like, I mean, it's like Ninja Turtles cartoon villains. Like they just grit their teeth and glare at things, even when they're listening adoringly to their master.
Yeah.
Next step at the end of any James Bond film, the secret villain's lair is stormed by UN troops. I don't know, but this is SHIELD agents. A bunch of lines drop down and they come sliding down from the rooftops or the top of the mountain or whatever. So we get this kind of weird vertiginous view looking down as Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan and some other agents come in, guns ablazing. They're storming along the walkways above these vats of boiling stuff. We see some of the villains falling off into the molten stuff. It's just absolute chaos. Punching, melee. It's Nick Fury and his agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Hate Monger's reaction is, Himmel, why must it always be? Is it written that I am to fail in the end? And can we just name this guy so we can just call him something for a minute?
Give him a name.
I want Tim to do it.
He looks like a sort of a Waldorf or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, Waldorf. Waldorf says, we're going to find that out one way or the other because we've got a real fight on our hands. And then we cut to the shot of the man-wolf who is essentially handcuffed to a beam. And he is just raging with this red explosion behind him of just showing his intense emotional state. And then he hulks out and breaks the chains, which is rad. I love seeing the titular hero actually have strength and do something interesting.
Those last two panels are awesome.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying earlier. I think this werewolf is the stronger, more powerful, more kind of badass werewolf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. And I would like to implore anybody who has been listening to this season, I think we neglected to do this, but if you want to go back and just skim through and tell us what his body count is, I would love to start keeping track of Man-Wolf's body count because he's got one.
Oh, he definitely has one.
Yeah. Jack had one, but it seemed like it was kind of a spotty, erratically, whatever, whereas Man-Wolf seems to kill one or two people every issue.
He seems to, especially the last couple. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't as I like the top panel where we see Shield, Nick Fury and Shield, making their entrance. I wasn't crazy about how Nick Fury's depicted. It was okay, but it just seemed a little off.
I agree. My question when I saw this was, how old is Nick Fury?
Well, that's always the. Well, no, he fought in World War II.
Right.
So,
Okay. So he's at least in his 40s here.
Yeah, he's not a young man.
Okay.
Yeah, and no, but this is a cool page. It was exciting to see. This is also when I said, "Oh my God, like this is the most mainstream werewolf comic we've read so far." Because here's fucking Nick Fury and Shield. Like these are big characters that Kraft would absolutely have to get permission to use.
Definitely Shield, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure. So on the next page, Manwolf just goes berserk and just tears into the henchmen. And I like Fury takes advantage of this, saying, "Come on, you blasted crumb bums. This ain't no time for pussyfooting. And you know better than to blow this caper. That's an order." And so, yeah, then on that middle row, it's so great. We have an amazing panel of the Manwolf holding like two broken henchmen with flames behind him. And the narration reads, "Below, suffused with rapacious antagonism and confused by the carnage around him, the Manwolf attacks at random, devoid of reason and oblivious to death."
But I have to note, that's not two henchmen. That is a Shield agent and a henchman.
Oh, yes, you're right.
I love that he indiscriminately is attacking everyone.
Yes, you're right. So he kills an agent of Shield.
Yeah.
And
He's devoid of reason. He's devoid of reason.
He's oblivious to death. And so, yeah, we see what do we call that guy?
Waldorf.
Oswald.
Waldorf. We see Waldorf
sorry,
start to turn, a big wheel, which I'm assuming. Oh yeah, he's trying to tip the vat of molten liquid onto the Manwolf, and we see Nick Fury from above say "steady" and then zap the guy with his laser gun. It says "gotcha." And then this gets the attention of the Manwolf. It says Fury's attention is diverted by the fracas. Well, the Manwolf is attracted by the scent of blood, and so we see that yeah, he has a little injury, is attracted by the blood. And then those last two panels are so great. We see just the terror in that man's eyes, and then Manwolf just goes over. It says, which causes him to remember this man who tried so hard to kill him, and then he just kills the guy.
While howling.
And it's such a cool last panel.
And you were talking about like getting permission. So it feels to me like a different writer has scrubbed out what Kraft wrote when he's writing Nick Fury's dialogue. So we've got "Come on, you blasted crumb bum," but then we've got "suffused with rapacious antagonism" from, that feels like Kraft's point, in the middle of this trip that he's on. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't feel like Kraft wrote that Nick Fury dialogue. It feels so different, unless he had a sudden moment of clarity.
No, or maybe he's also just like you were asking, Matt. Maybe he's just like, how old is Fury? Oh, he's fucking old. Let's make him talk like an old timer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
yeah. I know.
Then Frank Sinatra came in with. Okay, so we have another kill on John Jameson's hands.
Yep.
But it's Waldorf. Who cares? On the next page, says there was another two who brought pain, and we're reminded, oh yes, the hate monger. Where's he? He is putting on his armor that he has. So he's wearing his entire suit except the helmet, but he still has his Klan hood on, which looks so weird. So it's like, if you recall, he has chainmail as part of his armor. So he has chainmail, a tunic, and then Iron Man armor on top of that. And that must feel weird to have a Klan hood on and then an Iron Man helmet on top of that. That has to be binding, or like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
It has to ride up like underwear or something. I don't know. And it says, and who is even now? And the Manwolf's head swings around, escaping. And the Manwolf just backhands. Oh, that's a drink.
That's a drink.
Oh, yeah.
Backhands a Shield agent. Like, again, he does not differentiate between these two parties. But this Shield agent is in the way, is between him and the hate monger, and he has a debt of vengeance to pay here. And then this middle panel is horizontal and skinny, and it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's all black, so it's like in the darkness, and there's this pathway from one corner on the upper left to a doorway in the bottom right, and it's like a cave bridge, natural bridge, And the hate monger is stalking away on the far right, and the man wolf is approaching him from the left, running after him. Just cool graphically, and using that negative space of the shadow. And so then we get another shot of a spacecraft that the hate monger is running towards the ladder of. It says, and he pursues his quarry to its bizarre lair. And the hate monger is trying to close the door quickly before the man wolf can get in. And the man wolf you see a close up of his furry claw come out and stop. And he opens it. And this last panel has to be in the feed, please.
Oh, that's great, isn't it? Yeah.
As he's torn the door open, in the foreground, we see just part of the hate monger's armor. And he's kind of reeling back in fear as the man wolf stalks in, almost entirely in shadow with glowing eyes and fangs, growling. As he's stalking, he's met his quarry.
So cool.
Yeah. That's how a werewolf should look, really.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I agree with you, Matt. That middle skinny rectangular panel is so beautiful. So we should just jump to the next page because, oh my God, I have to read this narration. Yet, so it's showing that there's a rocket. We see it kind of in that first long rectangular panel. We see a bit of the rocket. It says, "Yet ere the ruthless ivory image of bristling rancor can spring, there comes violent upheaval. As activated prematurely in desperation, the hate-monger's secret project bursts upward through Lake Rabun and takes to the pre-dawn sky." So we see that his secret project, this whole thing, this lair and everything, is just a giant fucking rocket ship that comes out of the lake. And it's a cool looking rocket. The sound effect at the bottom as its boosters are taken off says "Fracum."
It's hard to not be impressed by a entire mountain essentially being just a covering for a giant rocket ship.
A giant rocket ship, yeah, it's so cool.
Love that.
And then it says, so this thing is huge and took off from a lake, so there's going to be consequences to that. It said, in its wake, a tremendous backwash ensues, inundating those in the cavern below. We see Fury and Dum Dum surface. Fury says, "Dum Dum, you big walrus, quit floundering and follow me." I love Dum Dum says, "Forget it, Nick. I ain't going nowhere without my blamed derby." So yeah, he needs his signature hat because he's Dum Dum Dugan. He needs his fucking hat.
Is he an American? I always thought he was Irish. Am I crazy?
I thought so too, but maybe he's an American-born Irishman.
Oh, I'm
not sure. Yeah, you're right. I think that I'm not sure about that.
Just a ginge. He's got a bowler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the next panel says, above, erratic flight as the sleek spacecraft thrusts itself unpiloted toward the stars while its two occupants engage in hostilities. So this is it's such a cool action sequence because as this rocket is taking off, the hate monger and the man wolf are still fighting as everything's shaking and they're feeling G's of the takeoff. And yeah, it's a really cool page.
When did Moonraker come out? Like, I feel like there's got to be some crossover here. Like, did he see Moonraker? It's very...
It is very Moonraker.
I think Moonraker was like 77, though. I don't know.
It was after Star Wars, wasn't it? Because
was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was basically James Bond doing Star Wars, I think. Yeah. So
I do want to get to the bottom of this Dum Dum Dugan thing, though.
Okay.
And now I've got...
Where's your...
Princess Marina. She bought a hat like Princess Marina in my head.
Oh, you have a lot of Kink songs in your head.
A hat like Anthony Eden.
Yeah. Now, where's your issue of Ohatmu that you can look up?
So I'm gonna put myself out there and show how ignorant I am of comic books. But wasn't he in Captain America's early issues, Dum Dum Dugan? Yeah.
Yes.
So was he also frozen in ice or something? Or
no?
Okay.
No, they've
been dealing with this time thing for a while. Like.
Right.
How these guys fight Hitler, and it's also the 80s.
And they're in the 80s, and they're like in their late 30s. Yeah, I know. It's
still fighting Hitler in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good at it.
Evil doesn't stop, Tim.
No.
Okay,
cool. So another note here for people who've been paying attention to costuming. At the last panel here, it appears that the tunic is dead.
Yeah.
Whatever's gone on in these last pages, it's done. So you're not going to see the old space diaper anymore.
Nope.
That's actually all that's left. It's just the
Yeah.
Fruit of the Loom part.
Yeah.
So he is fully, like Conan. All right, so the battle continues. The hatch remains open, held by ever-increasing acceleration and the pressure of onrushing air against it. So they're grappling, hanging over the edge of the open door as it comes swooshing by. The ship gains altitude till over the rim of the Earth. And we get this cool shot of the rocket ship, and you can see, I mean, obviously the Earth's flat, but here they make it like a sphere, I guess. But the Earth is flat. You guys understand that, right?
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all an illusion. The sun appears. So they've actually, this ship has crested over the Earth, the horizon to where the sun appears. And so the Man-Wolf starts turning back into John Jameson. But the ship still climbs, and capriciously it expels its captain. So the hate monger is sucked up and out the door, and also neatly seals the hatch. So somehow the pressure change makes the door slam and seals it. And air screams by, robbing breath, creating friction, as we see the hate monger clinging in his armor to the outside of the rocket ship as it's going out of airspace, 8 miles up and rising. And we see the hate monger in his armor looking up at the sun, and he's clinging, holding onto the side. We see his gauntlet gripping, and you can see it says creating friction, melting, and it starts to melt, burning as it's just going away like liquid, like mercury. And then this last panel in the middle here it's just the friction and the heat. The armor is completely melted off. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Hate monger has just he's down to like skulls, like screaming as he goes into his end as all his flesh melts off. And it says destroying, and his hand lets go, and we see a silhouette of him falling back the 8 miles towards Earth, incinerated, apparently.
Yeah.
I think.
Does he come back after this?
Well, I think the Ohatmu that I was talking about was actually the Book of the Dead, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, Book of the Dead. So I don't know if he had come back at this point. I mean, at the point of like that was published when that was published in the 80s, 87.
Yeah, but like everything, I'm sure he makes an appearance at some point that we can't remember. But so cool to have Hitler burned alive with molten gold and then falling, from however many thousand feet up. Like that's a pretty good. It's like an Inglorious Bastards level of revenge fantasy we're getting here. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, until 2016, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Hitler was okay again.
Yeah, that's true.
When the last World War II vet died, all the Nazis came back out.
Yeah.
And we get this shot of John in his human form, and he's quickly kind of learning how to control the stuff because he's an Air Force NASA guy. And it says, and finally the ship ceases its ascent and begins a gradual descent as astronaut John Jameson familiarizes himself with the controls while trying to assimilate fragmentary memories of the long night. So he's turned the ship around. He's going back towards its source where it started from. And did you guys think it was kind of weird that he still has a green choker? Because around the moonstone, because Kraft has made a point of saying like this is grafted into him. It's like he doesn't need a necklace anymore. He doesn't need something, but he still has this green choker. Yeah,
I know. It's an interesting choice. I wonder if it's an aesthetic choice that somehow it just looked a little weird if it didn't have anything around his neck showing it.
I would buy this action figure.
Yeah, I would too.
If it actually glowed with an LED light.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If anybody out there listens and they make custom figures, this is our second request for it.
Yeah, second
John
request.
Jameson.
Just repurpose Amigo doll of somebody.
Yeah.
And
red LED light.
Yeah.
Watch battery. How hard could this be?
Yeah. So, okay, let's go to our final page. And
did we have a drink for a dead villain?
No, we didn't.
Let's
drink. Let's drink. Not really toast him, but we'll drink in celebration of his demise.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
F off Hitler.
Yeah. Screw you, Hitler. So that on our final page, at the top of the page, it reads, so we see the spaceship coming back down. It says, glistening silver in a roseate sky, the craft designed to carry the hate monger and crew to an illegitimate rendezvous with the orbiting space wheel deftly returns to Georgia. Well, the SHIELD agent says, I got him covered, Colonel Fury. Just give me the word. And Fury says, put that bazooka down, you lunk-headed idiot, and use your smarts. I said, yes, sir. Ain't no clown like Hate Monger gonna come back just because he forgot to pack a change of diapers. Then we see Dum Dum Dugan say, looks like John Jameson to me, Nick, as he kind of appears from the spaceship. Nick's like, son of a gun if it ain't. John says, Colonel Fury, Dum Dum Dugan. Doctor. Yeah, so he knows them all. They all know each other, of course.
Which they've never actually met in.
I don't think so.
Ages, right?
No, but they have heard of each other. Their legend looms.
Oh no,
longer.
I get it. I'm just saying, like, had we seen this in
No, I don't think so. Fury says, I don't know what you're doing here, Jameson, and I ain't gonna ask because it sure don't look good. But I know you're AWOL, and I figure seeing as how you rescued this baby, the least I can do is to put in a good word for you with the boys at the Cape when I take you there. So yeah, Fury is planning on basically arresting John and taking him back to the authorities. As he's doing that, John looks over and he says, Mary. The narration says he sees her then, and his voice is strained, plaintive. But she does not reply. She is still as the unmoving form of her husband, Joel Stevens. John Jameson's friend has become a victim. And then John says, Mary, I'm sorry. And a little tear coming down. And our teaser for next issue says, next, Moonbound. But yeah, it was of a nice little ending. We just so we don't forget that Joel paid the ultimate price for being a friend of Manwolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
the ultimate price.
The ultimate price. A little sad ending there, but a pretty cool action-packed issue.
She must have been there for some time holding that.
That's what I was wondering
corpse.
too. It kind of made it really sad. It was just like, oh shit, she's been there for like 24 hours, like just holding her dead husband. I was like, God damn, that's sad.
I think that he actually went out looking for John, and so she probably worried about him at the house. And then, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent said, we found your husband or your...
Okay.
I'm trying to rewind this because it's a complete accident that John Jameson's there at the base where the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are coming in, isn't it? There's no correlation between those two things. No. He's just, so that is easily lost in the mayhem.
That's it.
Yeah.
So,
which is great. I mean, that's fine. That's poetic license, but it kind of, Well, and the fact that Nick Fury knows who he is because he knows he's AWOL and all that stuff. So,
so
we'll let that go. Yeah.
You know, at this point in time, you can name everybody on two hands who's walked on the moon, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Matt, do you want to do a letter first or final thoughts?
Let's do the letter and then final thoughts.
Okay, so let's read a letter from the letters page.
Which is called Creature Features.
Creature Features. That's right. We forgot last issue. Dear Len, Dave, and George, the new Manwolf series in Creatures is once again proving that no matter how hackneyed or predictable the concept, once Marvel gets a hold of it, the reading public is set on its furry earlobe. I must compliment newcomer David Kraft for moving off into unique, heretofore unexplored realms with the werewolf. This idea of having a bit more of John Jameson's personality traits evident in Manwolf's animalistic nature each night that the moon recedes from its full waxing phase is, to my knowledge, something that's never been attempted or even thought of before. This should lead to many an interesting confrontation, both between John and others, as well as within himself, when Manwolf goes on the prowl toward the end of the month. Of course, I was happy to note that the human half of John Jameson was not neglected in favor of his lupine alter ego. Please keep the character development going, Dave. I hope John's fiancé, his father, and Simon Stroud will play pivotal roles in the months to come and not simply fade out of the picture. Dave, I remember a few issues ago you mentioned in an informal introduction that you were dreaming about motorcycling instead of your editing chores. From this statement, I have extrapolated the following after reading issue 34. First, you may physically or psychologically resemble Joel Stevens. Secondly, you have a motorcycle that resembles Joel's and which is also a Norton. And third, you may already own or desperately desire a secluded country place down south. Marvel's writers are famous for their autobiographical entrances at times into their stories, especially Steve Gerber. And so I've gambled I'm right on at least two counts. George Perez, as I've commented in my last letter here, I'm truly enjoying your artwork. Since Man-Wolf is not a moody supernatural comic, but as much superhero-ish as anything, your penciling is a fine compliment to Dave's scripting abilities. My lone complaint being that I feel there are a few too many pages which contain an abundance of small panels. I understand that your art is cinematically influenced and must therefore have at times numerous stop frame sequences which involve small panels. But you draw Man-Wolf so well, I wish you could give us a couple more pages in which there are large panels with the Man-Wolf, the predominating figure, so as to give us more of a graphic feeling of his animal power and ferocity. Other than that, I'm quite pleased. In the past, I've stated my open dislike for werewolf characters as continuing features in comics. After quite a few issues of Werewolf by Night had come out, my opinion hadn't changed an iota, but the entrance of Man-Wolf has me truly enthusiastic about the opportunities for breeding new territory in this area. I wish you both success with your work here. Ralph Macchio, 188 Wilson Drive, Cresskill, New Jersey. So we have a response. Would you like me to read that too?
Yeah, just before you do, I'm with him 100% here, and he was very clearly already an editor.
Yeah, exactly.
Before
right.
He became an editor.
He's got notes. He's got insightful notes. So, okay, this is Len. I'm assuming Len responding. Thanks for your perceptive observations, Ralph. The supporting cast has indeed been growing with each succeeding issue, but not to the exclusion of Stroud, JJJ, or Christine. Dave has plans for all of them. As for your extrapolations, you got 3 out of 3. Aside from hair color, Dave resembles Joel, owns a yellow Norton 750, and loves Georgia. Extraordinary guesswork on your part, Ralph. Regarding larger panels, we think by now you've noted a trend in that direction as George and Dave grow more accustomed to working with each other and to gauging just how much plot will fit in one issue. Keep watching, because with the Kraft, Perez, McLaughlin team, how can we miss? And then it ends with a Kingpin Marvel value stamp for you to collect. So pretty cool. Another Ralph Macchio letter that's very insightful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that he wrote back. I think it's so cool getting, the guy became an editor 10 years later. And he's great. And all of his notes I totally agree with. And he was saying I had an issue with Georgia's weird little panels. I think we mentioned that last episode. There was just one page where it didn't quite work, but it's his first full length story. Yeah.
So no, very, very cool.
And by the next full length story, he was already banging out better stuff.
Yep. Cool. Well, yeah, I think we should move into final thoughts on this issue. Tim, why don't you go first? What'd you think?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I love the action. There was definitely that pivot point, and Matt queued it up perfectly when he said, "You ready for this page?" with the hate monger and the spread. That was like a what moment, but that's cool because that gives the issue energy. It spiraled it off to the whatever direction it's going in next. I haven't read ahead yet, but I think we all know he's going into space.
Yep.
So yeah, I found it gripping, exciting. I found the hate manga a bit ridiculous, but then, that kind of worked. Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Matt, how about you?
For me, this was a turning point. So I think the last issue with Kraft coming on there, I felt like he was really taking this in a cool place where it was kind of treading water a bit before and introducing himself and his life, elements from it, Georgia and bikes and hippie culture and the South. I immediately got into it, and this continued. This is like a revolution by a matter of degrees, right? Except I feel like he was just shifting in 1 or 2 degrees that first issue, and then he just ratcheted it up about 90 degrees. We're halfway to a full revolution into Space God. But I loved it. The art was great. McLaughlin's inks continue to just make me silly for George's pencils. George's language and grasp of the craft just exponentially just leaps and bounds. Every single month this guy draws something, he's just growing in a crazy rate. So I love the art. I love the weird. I loved Hate Monger being in here. I couldn't have been more happy with that spoiler. Like, holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Hitler's clone is behind this storyline. So, I loved every minute of it. I loved every bit of this thing.
I'm gonna agree with you, Matt. I just thought I thought it was great. It was the perfect level of bonkers Bronze Age horror, which checks that main box for us all. I also liked, I kind of liked how disconnected Werewolf by Night was from the Marvel universe, but I got to admit, I kind of liked that this was the most connected I've ever felt to the actual Marvel universe. Really, the entire time we've done this podcast.
We're having our cake and eating it too right now.
We kind of are, because we get our cool werewolf story, but we also get, legacy villains, legacy characters, and just seeing Nick Fury, seeing the Hate Monger. It was a real treat. I thought it was really cool. I feel so mainstream.
I know.
We're just talking about a superhero comic now.
Yeah,
but he came out of Spider-Man. A Spider-Man story, didn't he?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So we did definitely have
point,
that.
yeah.
But this was as far as a solo werewolf title, I was not expecting it to jump back in with normal characters.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. I think that Kraft and Perez are just getting better and better with each issue. So I felt really good about this issue.
Yeah, and I think that it's fair to say that he did come out of Spider-Man, but only because they wanted another werewolf, and someone just said, "What about this guy?" I mean, it was the opposite intention editorially. So the fact that it swung back around in a matter of 6 issues or so back to like, no, let's embrace this.
Super cool.
Let's not get a Glitter Knight.
Yeah.
Please.
And I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Is that right? I have no clue.
I don't know what's going to happen to his girlfriend. Is it Christine?
Christine Saunders.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see more of her. I don't think she's around much more. I haven't.
Who's that guy? I mean, I can't even think how that guy is connected to.
No, I know. It's really
anything.
Creepy. It's a dangling thread that I really hope we get some closure on, which I think we will.
Yeah, and I believe, Lynn or whoever, I believe that David did have a plan for Harrison Turk and Christine. I believe he had a plan for Simon Stroud, which I think. Do we know? I feel like we're being shitty co-hosts here. Like, we need to figure out where is Morbius and Simon Stroud, and where is Simon Stroud and Manwolf? Like,
we'll start tracking that.
Book?
We'll start tracking that next episode. I promise. Yeah, I apologize.
So we need to figure out where he first appeared, and if he was borrowed for this or created here and handed off to Morbius.
I know we love him enough. We need to know his backstory.
Yeah,
no,
I think I want to be him for Halloween.
Yeah, skin tight red turtleneck and gas grenade belt. I'm in.
And a blonde wig.
Yeah. Blonde wig. Yeah, just scream.
Shouting all the time.
Yeah.
Can I have a drink?
Yeah.
I'm just going to wear a Speedo and just have Renee paint my top half red and my bottom half blue and have a thing of grenades.
Oof, I will be there to take photos of that. That's for sure.
Tim, thank you so much for joining us for this issue. It was a blast going through the Hate Monger issue with you.
It was great. Thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time, and I love this show, and it was just an honor to be a part of it. Thank you.
I can't wait for when we do other horror books. We're going to have you on for the May 1975 issues of those books.
Yes. Whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
That is dictum.
Yeah.
Tim, I would like you to, when we do put up this poll, I would like you to vote for what we do after season 3.
I've got some ideas. Yeah.
And I'll throw up some of that poll up there for all of our Patreon supporters to vote, because we want to do what you guys want us to do within our parameters. Of course, we're not stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, this is where we should probably do our little shout out here. Our Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters support us at the highest tier, and we want to thank them right here. And this is awkward because one of them's here, but thank you, Michael G. Tim Tucker. Thank you so much for all you do. Brian from Marvel by the Month, great guest last episode. If you haven't heard that one yet, please circle back around and hear that. That was good stuff. Josh Link, Jeff Fitzpatrick, Caleb, Ben M., our drink contest winner, Michelle from Moonlit Comics, recent guest also, Mark Nivens, Rob Haferman, Russ from Tomes of Evil, Hammer of Thor 84, Brad Elmore, Johnny Turner, Jackson T. Overstreet, and we have a new Pack Brother, but I haven't verified yet that what name they would like to be called on the air. So I'm not going to call them out yet, but thank you to you, you new pack brother, you. Yeah, and you can join us there. We do a bonus show every week. We make it for video. There's an audio version of it, but it's a lesser inferior twin. You want to get the video stuff. So you want to be a Moon Beast or a pack brother or a pack sister. So go to patreon.com/Werewolf by Night podcast and join up there, and you can get all that stuff. Jacob and I talk about a werewolf movie every episode, and then we talk about something cool. It's like show and tell. So we bring a comic or a novel or a record or just something interesting to share with you, and we love to do it. Right, Jacob?
That's right. And, we haven't said it the last couple episodes, but we are always looking for 5-star reviews on Apple Podcast or whatever podcast platform you listen on. And if you will leave us a 5-star review saying superbly glowing things about us, we will send you a pack of buttons made from a real Werewolf by Night comic as a show of thanks for that. So, yeah, there's that. And you can always correspond with us. We are on Instagram as Werewolf by Night Podcast. We're on Twitter under Werewolf Podcast. And we have a Gmail that you can correspond with us at as Werewolf by Night Podcast @Gmail. So we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm. And we have a recent 1-star review we need to combat. So we're calling for a 5-star review just to, offset that jackass.
Yeah, that's right.
Did that jackass ever actually leave any kind of constructive criticism?
Nope.
No.
Just the
cowardly
review.
came in and said, "I love Ethan Van Sciver. Fuck you."
Yeah.
With 1 star and left.
Pretty sure, yeah. Pretty sure that's some
For sure
kind
that
of
was a
retaliation.
Comicsgate hit. But okay.
Yeah, we can deal with it.
Yeah,
I'll take our 4.9 rating. Still pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah.
And please make sure to check out Tim's novels. They're so great, and I'm so excited that the 3rd one's coming out.
Thank you.
There will be
Appreciate
links
that.
in the show notes, folks, if you want to check out Tim's site and get his books. Can't recommend them enough. Thank you again, Tim.
Thank you. And looking forward to the next episode. I'll be listening in.
Right on. For our bonus episode this week,
We'll be watching a movie called that we talked about a little bit on the bonus show last week. It's a movie called Face of the Screaming Werewolf, and that's from 1960?
65.
65, okay. And I'll be talking about a compilation record from Sacred Bones record of Mort Garson called Music from Patchcord Productions. He's an early electronic music pioneer who did lots of cool shit. And Sacred Bones Records has been reissuing a lot of his albums the last few years, and I've been getting every one of them because I love him. He's pioneering electronic music composer on par with Robert Moog, Raymond Scott, Bruce Hack. So did really, really cool shit. So I'll be really excited to talk about him.
And I will be talking about a recent Kickstarter graphic novel that I received called Gardener by Matt Emmons, and it's a sci-fi kind of moody, cool piece. So I'm super stoked to be sharing that with you guys. I'm going to finish reading it before we talk about it.
Awesome.
Right on. Well, Tim, take care of yourself. Always thinking about you, and it was great to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you guys. And I look forward to hearing more and speaking to you soon.
Yes, you
For sure.
All right. Well, till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at you. Nice.
That was good.